and the small coastal village of Greyhaven, where mist clung to the cliffs and rain was as constant as the tides, there stood an antique shop at the edge of town. Its sign, weathered by salt and time, read Tide's Treasures. The shop was run by Clara Wren, a woman with silver hair and eyes that seemed to hold secrets older than the sea itself. Every evening, Clara lit a brass lantern that hung outside her shop. It cast a warm, amber glow, cutting through the drizzle and guiding late-night night wanderers. The villagers loved the lantern, calling it a beacon of comfort, but they whispered, too, of how it never flickered, no matter the storm, and how Clara never spoke of its origins. One rainy autumn night, a stranger arrived in Greyhaven. He wore a long coat, its collar turned up against the wind, and carried a leather satchel that sagged under some unseen weight. He knocked on Clara's door just as she was closing the shop. "Miss Wren?" he asked, his voice low but clear over the rain. "I'm Elias Thorne. I've come about the lantern." Clara's hand paused on the doorframe. Her expression was unreadable, but her eyes narrowed slightly. "The lantern's not for sale," she said, stepping back to close the door. Elias raised a hand. "I don't want to buy it. I want to know where it came from. My father, Arthur Thorne, made that lantern. He disappeared 20 years ago, and I believe it holds the key to finding him." Clara hesitated, then gestured for Elias to come inside. The shop smelled of polished wood and old books. The lantern's glow filtered through the window, casting soft shadows across shelves cluttered with compasses, porcelain teacups, and tarnished silver. "Sit," Clara said, pointing to a chair by a small table. She poured tea from a chipped pot, the steam rising like the mist outside. "Tell me about your father." Elias leaned forward, his satchel resting at his feet. He was a craftsman, a metalsmith. He made lanterns, clocks, anything that required precision. But he was obsessed. He spoke of creating something extraordinary, a light that would hold time itself. The last time I saw him, I was 10. He was working on a brass lantern, etching strange symbols into it. Then he was gone, no note, no trace. I've spent my life chasing rumors of that lantern. They led me here. Clara sipped her tea, her gaze fixed on the window where the lantern burned. "And what makes you think this is his work?" "The symbols," Elias said. He opened his satchel and pulled out a worn sketchbook, its pages yellowed. He flipped to a drawing of a lantern, its base covered in intricate carvings, swirls, stars, and lines that seemed to pulse. "I saw these on your lantern when I passed by yesterday. They're unmistakable," Clara set her cup down. For a long moment, the only sound was the rain tapping the roof. Then she stood and walked to the window, her fingers brushing the glass. "Your father's lantern came to me 15 years ago," she said. "A sailor brought it to the shop, said he found it washed ashore after a storm. I bought it because it was beautiful. But you're right, it's more than it seems." She turned to Elias, her voice softening. "At night, when the shop is quiet, the lantern hums. Not a sound you hear with your ears, but one you feel in your chest. And sometimes I see things in its light, fleeting images. A man at a workbench, a stormy sea, a child waiting by a window." Elias's breath caught. "That's me, the child. I used to wait for him every night." Clara nodded. "I don't know how or why, but your father's lantern holds memories, maybe more. I've kept it safe, not understanding it, but knowing it wasn't mine to claim." Elias stood, his eyes bright with something between hope and fear. "Let me see it, please." Clara led him outside, where the rain fell in a steady curtain. She unhooked the lantern from its chain and handed it to Elias. Its warmth surprised him, like holding a living thing. The symbols glowed faintly, and as he traced them with his finger, a vision flickered in his mind. His father, older now, standing on a distant shore, looking out at the sea. "He's alive," Elias whispered. "I don't know where, but he's alive." Clara placed a hand on his shoulder. Take the lantern, Elias. Find him, but be careful. Some secrets are heavier than they seem. Elias left Greyhaven the next morning, the lantern wrapped carefully in his satchel. Clara watched him go, the rain washing away his footprints. She never lit another lantern outside her shop, but the villagers swore that on stormy nights, a faint amber glow still lingered in the mist. If you enjoyed this story, please consider sharing it with others. We'd love to hear what you thought of it. Your support allows us to continue producing high-quality stories and podcasts. So thank you for considering. Now let's move on to our next story.